On this video, I am going to be showing and demonstrating a little bit about an Iorio H Series Accorgan, which I am going to be selling on eBay. Here you see basically the accordion, and if I can zoom in here close, you'll see a connector to the accordion, and that connector is connected to a tone generator for the Iorio Accorgan, and that tone generator has on its right hand side at the bottom you can see a couple of cords. One of those cords is an AC power cord that just connects to a basic standard outlet. Right now it's plugged into a power strip, and the other cord runs to a foot pedal by which you can control volume, and you actually can bend sounds a little bit using sliding the foot to the right or left using those tabs on the foot pedal. The generator is also connected by a cable that goes from what's called general out, in this case to an amplifier, which is not part of the items that will be sold on eBay, but it's used for demonstration purposes here. So these are the basic things that are connected in order for this Iorio H Series Accorgan to be able to play. The accordion can play acoustic sounds, and it can also play electronic organ type sounds through the tone generator, and I'll be demonstrating that in a few moments. So I'll set that up and be back in a moment. Okay, now that I've shown you a little bit about the accordion, now I'm going to demonstrate not just how it's hooked up, but how it actually sounds. First, acoustically, I've got the amplifier turned off so that you won't be hearing any electronic sounds. This is what's called a 4-5 reed accordion. It has four sets of reeds on the treble side and 5 on the bass side. On the treble side we have a low and 3 middle sets of reeds, or a bassoon, and 3 sets of what are sometimes called clarinet reeds. The 3 middle reeds are basically tuned to give what's called a musette sound. One is tuned a little bit lower than the middle one, and one is tuned ever so slightly higher than the middle one to give a little bit of a vibrato kind of sound. The reeds all work both on the push and the pull on each note, and I will demonstrate that. Now that was the low set of reeds, the bassoon set of reeds. Now I will do one middle reed, the middle set of reeds. So that works on, every reed works in that set of reeds. Now I will do 2 middle reeds. And you can hear there's a little bit of a almost harmonious or vibrato type sound. Okay, so if you were listening, you would have been able to hear 2 reeds for each note that I played both on the push and the pull. Now, when all three are together, that's what's called a true musette or triple musette, all three middle reeds. And this accordion, in my opinion, has a beautiful Italian musette sound. Play just a little bit before I go through each set of notes. And I will go through each set. I'm going to start back again. I was accidentally touching the bass note there for a minute. Now what I did was, this has a master switch that will turn on all four sets of reeds. And I accidentally let that hit my leg and it turned on the lower set of reeds. So I'm going to go through the upper end of this scale a little bit again, with just the middle three reeds for you. So there you are with the middle three sets of reeds, and a master. You've already heard all four of the reeds now, the three middle and the bassoon in the beginning, but the master's really a full sound. So that's the treble side. Everything works as it should acoustically. Has a nice sound, musette and otherwise. And now for the bass side. I'll run through a scale on the bass side. Now we'll take it up. Let me start that one over again. I'm not a skilled accordion player, and now we'll go down about 4 notes to get the rest of the sharps or flats that we missed. And that's the basses are good also. So I'll just play a little bit of something called Boogie Woogie Swing to give you an idea of how all this fits together. Okay, told you I wasn't a real skilled accordion player, but that gives you an idea of the accordion acoustically is a very nice accordion, nice enough that I occasionally see on the internet that people that have had these that the electronics have failed on have actually taken out the electronics and just used them as an acoustic accordion, and they've sold for pretty good money, even just as an acoustic accordion. But now it's time to talk about the electronics on this accordion, and to do that I will turn my amp on, and I'm going to close off the bellows with my bellows straps. So that everything that I'm going to play now will be just the electronics of the accordion. I'm not sure if this video will show this very well or not, but there are some. And I can also just completely close off the various sets of treble combinations, which, and I really didn't go through this, but you can, acoustically, you can play it with just a bassoon reed, you can play it with one middle clarinet reed or 2 middle reeds, which sometimes they call a violin setting, or you can play it with 3 middle reeds, which is the musette setting, or you can play it with the master, which is all four. But now we're going to talk about the electronics. And in the electronics, you'll see some of these lights flashing. And I will be including with the sale on eBay some literature that explains some of this, an H series manual that explains some of this, and some pictures and diagrams and more instructions on how to use various parts of it. So this is not really to teach you how to do everything. This is just to show you some of the capabilities of the accordion. There's a thing here that says preset and registration, and when it's on preset, this flashing light down here basically controls what's going to happen. There's a registration. There are four tabs, and or four markings down there, and the first one says tabs. Now that corresponds with a section of the controls up here that's labeled tabs, and that has flute sounds and percussion sounds. And then the next one, and I kind of have to look at this, the next one is strings, and there's a string section here. And then the next one is solo, and there's a solo section here, and we'll talk some more about that in a minute. I keep having to look at my notes over here because first of all, one thing I need to tell you is that some of the writing on the accordion itself has worn off, and you cannot read under these what they are. You have to either memorize them or have a little cheat sheet beside you like I do to know what they are. If you're going to play it often enough, you're going to know what settings you're going to use, and you'll at least have those memorized. The fourth one is, and the solo instruments are along here, and I'll show those in a moment. The fourth one is called presets, and there are actually 36 sets of preset combinations, which I will get to in a minute. But I'm going to go back to tabs, and under tabs here are flute, and I'm going to turn on my amplifier, and I hope the amplifier is set at a volume that will record on this recording for YouTube. But the I wonder if I got this turned down. On tabs. Oh, I didn't actually get my amplifier turned on. Here we go. So I'm going to start out with what's called flute 16. Those are some of the sounds of flute 16. Now, I can also do flute 8, which is a higher flute sound. Flute 5 1/3. Flute 4. Flute 2 1/3. Flute 2. And even flute, what is this one? 1 1/3. So that's very high. But you can also combine these. For example, I can do flute 16, 8, and 4. And I've got really kind of an organ kind of sound. Now, I can, in fact, I can really do all the flutes if I want for a really full sound. The next button is strings, and this is a string section here. I can do what's called cello, and this other string section is a higher set of strings, or I can do both of them. I can also press both of these orchestration buttons down here at the same time and have both the tab section and the string section operable, so that you can really really get some full sounds here. The third one is the solo, and that controls the solo row right here, and it's a little different. I'm not very experienced or very good at using it, but what it does is it plays sounds that mimic these instruments here. A trombone, a trumpet, a saxophone, a clarinet, an oboe, a pan flute, a musette, which is again the sound of multiple reeds tuned slightly differently from one another, or a violin. What do we have here? Guitar and Hawaiian guitar. Now the thing about these solos, and I don't use them much for this reason, is as a solo instrument they are only playing one note. They don't play any harmony. So if you're playing something that has say a high C, a G, and an E, and you try to play that, you only get the high C. Or when you play all three of those together, it only plays the one note. So I'm not real skilled at how to use that. There's one other little trick here that I'm also not skilled at how to use, but some of you might find interesting, which is there's a thing here that says left hand, and you can change this instrument from playing with this right hand to playing with the left hand when you play a chord. I'm going to play a C chord, and that's the Hawaiian guitar, but it only, again, because it's solo, it only plays the highest note in that chord. But with my left hand, I can go through all these different sounds of instruments. And since I'm not very expert on that, and not going to really be doing that very much, that's all I'm going to show you about that one. Then one of the interesting things is the last one here, is the fourth one, is called presets, and that will give you that will give you these chords along, these things along here, and this one's labeled bass 1. This one, or I'm sorry, brass 1. This one's labeled brass 2. This one is labeled harmonica. This one is labeled accordion. This one is labeled vibes, so it sounds like vibes. This one's is what one is this one? This one's piano. This one is a clavichord, and this one is guitar, and this one then is a mandolin. So that's using the fourth one here as and with this arrow here. Now you can do something else. You can change this so that the arrow's down here where it says orchestration or orchestrator, registration I guess, and then down here it says orchestrator. Now in this case we forget about the labels up here, and we just look at these numbers 1 through 9, and with each one of these 1 through 4 tabs down here, we have a unique combination of sounds that has been put together for us by Iorio many years ago, when the Iorio Series H Accorgan was made, or which sometimes same internally as an Alcavox 83. So it was designed around 82 and began to be sold in about 83. These presets give you a preset combination not only of treble sounds, right-hand sounds, but also bass left-hand sounds. So I'll play through some of these, and this is using the first tab and the first tab here. Switch to the second one, a little different sound. Not too different. Switch to the third one. Switch to the fourth one. Now if I go back and I start out with the second tab down here and go through these again, you'll get yet different sounds. Now, I'm not going to go through all of them, but you can see. There are a lot of different sounds that you can make using the preset sounds. And that, of course, is in addition to, I'm going to switch this back up to here, and I'm going to put it back on tabs so that I'm going to create our own sounds here. And I just kind of like a little flute and some strings, and we haven't talked much about the bass, so I'm going to go through some of the bass sounds here. We can, for the bass, and here's your bass section, and it's labeled right in here, and the chords are right in here. So first of all, I'm going to do bass, and this is the bourdon, this is the cello, this is the tuba, this is the bass guitar, and this is the piano. And you can use any combination of these. A lot of times I'll use the bass guitar and the piano. And your bass roll or your counter bass row will play those. For the chords, and the chords are here, you can use flute 1, I'm sorry, that's flute 8, flute 16. Do that again. Flute 8, flute 4, strings, bass, or piano. So I usually like to do a little flute and maybe the bass and the piano. There's your basic chord pattern. Okay, so that gives you an idea of some of the capabilities. Then there are some strings or some sustain things here that you can make some of the sounds sustain, and I'll not go into those. If you listen carefully, you heard some sustain in some of the presets, but I'm just going to play a little bit of play a little bit of the way I like to play this, which is actually I like to combine the acoustics and the electronic sounds, and I like to play both at the same time. And you even can, although I don't need to in the small room in which I'm doing this accordion, but there is a connection down here for a microphone that you also can plug into an amplifier, and you can amplify the acoustic sound of this accordion. But I'm going to play with just the acoustic sound from the accordion and the sound from the amplifier, and I haven't tried real hard to get these balanced so they'll play right, but just to give you an idea. told you I wasn't a real skilled accordion player. You'll detect a few errors in that play, but it gives you an idea of the capabilities that this instrument would have in the hands of a skilled person or someone who was going to practice a lot with these various combinations. I think that illustrates basically the basic aspects of this accordion, but I am going to talk just a little longer before I end this video, because I'm going to mention the other things that will be included along with the accordion, the tone generator, the foot pedal. Oh, I really didn't talk about the foot pedal very much. Let me show you a little bit how that basically works. And I'm just going to use the electronics here, not the bellows. So you see, when I press down on the foot pedal, it gets louder, and when I press back, it gets softer. Now I can bend that tone by moving my foot to the left or to the right a little bit. I'm not skilled at being able to do that or know how I want to do it, but that's what you're able to do with the foot pedal. As you can tell, you can spend hours and hours playing around with different sound combinations. You can make all kinds of sound combinations, and playing around with volumes and foot pedals and mixes between acoustic and electronic sounds to really vary your performance if you're going to perform, or just to have fun if you're just playing for yourself. Now, in addition, this on eBay will be the accordion, the tone generator, and there'll be pictures of the tone generator, and I think I showed it briefly in the introduction to this video. Obviously the cord, which is permanently attached in the generator and then attaches to the accordion here, and the foot pedal and its cord, which attaches to the generator. I will include a short patch cord that with 1/4-inch jacks that goes from the general output of the tone generator to the amplifier, although the amplifier will not be included. But I will include, I've made copies of things that I attempted to acquire to obtain better understanding over the years, and there are pictures of these on the setting, or will be pictures of these when I put it up on eBay. But an Iorio Accorgan H Series manual with information about how to use it, a set of drawings and more instructions on how to use it, and finally a set of schematics for Alcobox 83, which again is the same, other than some exterior cosmetics and badging. It's the same as the Iorio Series H Accorgan. And so those things will be explained better, and they'll be shown in the eBay listing. Hopefully this gives you an idea that this accordion is capable of excellent sounds acoustically and a large variety of sounds electronically, some of which I find very appealing. The organ sounds using the flutes, and the bass sounds are deep and resonant. I really enjoy this instrument. The only reason I'm getting rid of it is I'm running out of space for accordions, and this was my second one. I have another Iorio H Series Accorgan that I'm keeping. Oops, sorry, I played that. Didn't intend to play it. But that's all for now. So I'm going to shut off this video. Anyone who's interested, check eBay. The listing should be up soon, sometime in the next few days, and I will be happy to answer any questions that anybody has. So thank you for watching.